Well, hello, and welcome back. I have this work of art here. We're going to be talking about something that I discovered recently. An artist named Victoria Villasana. She is a textile artist from Mexico. Her artwork features images of people on a surface that she has then taken yarn and embellished and made it like much more delightful or prettier to look at. I've seen lots of black and white images that have yarn and different things that are stitched into it, and I think that's just like a really cool technique, and I gave it a try. And so now I want to show you how I did it, a simplified version of how Victoria Villasana did it, using something that is very soothing to use, yarn, and an image. This is Harriet Tubman. We know about Harriet Tubman and her work helping slaves escape slavery on the Underground Railroad. She did it lots of times and she was very good at it. And so I chose her. Often, this artist, Victoria Villasana, uses people that are significant in some way to her. So I'm choosing images that are significant to me. This is Mae Jemison, an astronaut, the first black woman in space. And normally her spacesuit is orange, so I've chosen this orange paper to take this photocopy of her and glue it down. So I'm going to start with that. Just with some glue stick on the back, I'm going to make sure I cover the whole thing well with the glue stick so it sticks well to the orange piece of construction paper that I've chosen to frame her on, or just be the backing, just to make this sturdier and stronger. So my camera is probably freaking out right now because it does not like plain white paper, nor do I. I always try to add color and make art. So for this, you'll need glue stick and scissors and yarn and tape and a tapestry needle. I'll show you that in just a minute. So I'm going to center this on here, get it on pretty good. Yeah, there we go. And smooth it on. Just rub it. Very good. So now that's on there pretty good. That's Mae Jemison. She's lovely. Okay, so the yarn balls that I have, this is just extra yarn that I've had from other projects that have been saved and tucked away for just a moment as this. This is the tapestry needle. I use this often for yarn projects. It's kind of thick and it has a big eye in it, so it makes it easier for you to see how to get the yarn through. I'm also going to need a small piece of cardboard, and if you see, this has a bunch of holes poked in it because that's how I get holes in the paper to put the yarn through. That was how I figured out how not to rip the paper, so let me demonstrate how I did that. First of all, I'm going to use a piece of this index card to help me with something. Quite often it is tough to get a piece of yarn through a needle. So I get a really thin piece of paper and I fold it in half, and that's just the piece of index card there. I folded this in half so that I can help get the yarn through the needle, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to take a long piece of yarn, snip, and I just take the end of the yarn, tuck it inside. It's tucked inside there, and then I can push it through the eye of the needle, push it through, and then the yarn is and then the needle has been threaded. That's my little trick. I like to keep that handy when I'm using yarn. So I'm just going to go around Mae Jemison and add like yarn going every which way. But first I'm going to poke a few holes. So I put the cardboard under her head because I'm going to go around her face first, and I'm just going to poke with my needle, and I'm just pushing it, and it goes through the paper, and I push and wiggle and push and wiggle. And now I'm going to add some holes over to the side here where I want to take the yarn from over near her face to the edge of the paper. So I push through and push through. It takes a little effort. I just push and wiggle. I used glue stick because I felt that the regular glue would leave my paper soggy and hard to work with. So I used glue stick. If you do this with regular glue, I would suggest that you let this sit for a while to dry. Okay, so on the back, and I hope you can see this on camera. Yeah, you can see where the holes have been poked. Yes, let me focus in. The holes have been poked here in the back, and now you can see, yes, you can see where to put your needle in. And then I'm going to pull it. Don't let it go all the way out. Yes, leave some hanging. I'm going to leave some hanging in the back. And then I'll find another hole here on the front to push it in. And then I reach my hand behind and pull until it's tight. And it's made a straight line. And then I'm going to go into this little hole here right beside it, push in from the back and out the front. It almost feels like when you're doing some kind of cross stitch or stitching, you have to push and pull out the back. Yes. So see what's happening here? So I'm going to go into the hole next to it, this little hole right next to it, and then flip it over, and then there. And then I'm going to pull, pull, pull till it's nice and tight on the front, but I don't want to rip the paper. But that's nice and tight. That's pretty tight, right? And then I'm just going to keep doing that until I run out of holes. So this takes a little concentration. Push through, flip it over, push through the hole, and flip it over. So I really enjoy this. Working with textiles and yarn is always something that has been relaxing for me. It just relaxes my spirit. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like my brain needs this. I don't know. I see that I've missed a hole right here. I sort of did that on purpose because I don't want them all to be in the same order. So I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to do a little crisscross over to here. So I've made something that is crossed over. You can go back through some of the holes that you've done and make other lines going in other directions. So I'm going to stop for a second and cut this purple because I want to use another color. The artist that does this allows all her yarns to hang down in the back, but I think that might be too confusing for me. So I'm not going to do that. I'm switching colors. I'm taking a smaller piece of yarn this time. And I'm going to take this purple one off and set it to the side. You sticking to me. So then I'm ready to do this again. So I take my yarn, the end of the yarn, and I tuck it into this tiny piece of index card that I cut off, and then slide it through the hole like that. There. And voila, I have threaded the needle. Sometimes that's the hardest part, threading the needle. Okay, So I'm going to poke some more holes, and this time I'm going to come over to this side, on the side of her. Um, no, I think I might do it on her helmet. Yeah, I think I might do it on her helmet. So I'm going to put some lines across here with the needle. Sometimes I have to use two hands to get it to push through. Push through and wiggle. That's what I'm doing. Push through and wiggle. Oh, I think I'll do just one hole at the top. Make it look sort of like a starburst. Okay. I get these ideas just spontaneously. So I'm going to turn over to the back and see where the holes are. I'm going to start here. Very good. And there. And then I'm going to come in this hole again. Oh no, something's happening. I might have needed to tape this down. Handy dandy tape. I have the tape over here to the side, and I'd already torn a few small pieces, so take that small piece and put that there so it doesn't move. It started moving. There. It started moving on me, and I don't want it to move. Stay put. So there. And I'm just going to try to come in through this hole and try not to rip the paper. But I'm going to put stripes on her helmet over and over again. Coming in from this same spot in the back. I flip it over, look through, and pull. The yarn colors that you choose are totally your choice. I even have some rainbow colored yarn that I might want to use. That would be interesting to see how it looks doing this embroidery project. Choosing the person that is going to be featured for this project is probably the most important thing. I mean, art sends a message, and I mean that even looks like almost look like blast off. And this last piece of yarn, now that I'm done with it, I think I'm going to get a little piece of tape and tape it right there in that same spot where the other piece of tape is, so that it doesn't fall out. I like how that looks. I like how that feels. So I'm going to pause this video, and then I'll show you when I'm all done what I've done to Miss Mae Jemison, astronaut. And voila. There we go. She is finished. I think I'm going to stop with that because green is my favorite color, so I kind of went crazy with the green yarn. I think that all the things that we used are easily accessible to you, and something that is fun to do. This is fun. I think I could even do like portraits of my family members this way and put it in a frame. They would look so lovely. I love this. So I want to say shout out to Victoria Villasana. Thank you for the idea. I'm always looking for artists that are currently alive and still making art that I could teach my students about. They love learning about people that are still alive. And I have yarn, I have cardboard with scissors and a tapestry needle, along with a copy of someone who is important. And just zhoosh it up and add some different stitches to make it lovely. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you'll come back. We'll make more art because I always say art makes you smart. This is wonderful. It was fun. Come back and see me again sometime soon. Bye.